What's up YouTube, ErCellutions here with another video on how to fix your iPhone. This is the iPhone 6s glass only tutorial. So if you're watching this video, you're in the same situation that I'm in. You broke your phone and you're debating, should I pay someone to fix it or should I fix it myself? Well, let's start off with this. If your phone is not completely functioning with the screen cracked, this is not going to fix the problem. You actually need the entire LCD. This is if your phone is 100% operable and you need to just put a new glass that doesn't look like somebody stomped on it. So what we're using here is a heat gun to heat up the phone. If you have a heat thermometer, you're looking at around 90 to 100 degrees Celsius that you can get it to. If you don't and you're going to be using your hands to check the temperature, hot to the touch. So that means when you touch it, you can't leave your hand on it for more than a second, and that should be pretty good. So we're starting off here by removing the bezel frame from the glass so that we can get our metal wire through there and start to remove the glass. This part is fairly easy. You just need to get it nice and hot and just pull it all together as one piece. You don't want to be peeling it off or causing any pressure or bending. You just kind of want to pull it away from the phone, and it should come off as an entire piece. If you do tend to pull off glass, that's perfect. That's not a problem at all. Remember that that's what we're trying to do. That's why I tell you guys to pull slowly, and you'll have more area. So the more cracked your phone is, actually it's better. If you have a hairline crack, it's going to be a little bit more tedious. You're going to want to use this flathead screwdriver. That tab right there is the home button connector, and it has some adhesive on the bezel frame, so we just kind of want to get that out of the way. So once we either have the top or the bottom bezel frame off, heat the screen up, and this is pretty easy here. Get it right in between. What you're doing is you're liquefying the glue that's on top of the LCD in between the glass and the LCD, so that you can pull the metal wire through. This metal wire that we're including in the kits now is a little bit thicker, so it'll be easier to pull it through and it won't break as fast. This is a 0.11 millimeter molybdenum wire. So this part I think is the funnest part. Once you have this done, you're home free. Everything else after this is pretty much prepping, cleaning, aligning, but this is the money shot. This is, if you break it here, you're done. But like I said, this wire makes it a little bit easier, and in my opinion the S series for the iPhones is easier to fix. The reason being, the backlight is thicker and so is the LCD altogether, so it doesn't bend, or it's not as fragile as the iPhone 6. Also, when you're putting the UV glue, the backlight is better sealed, so you don't have that typical runoff that you have with the regular 6. Continue to heat up the glass here, by the way. Don't get lazy. Don't keep pulling the wire through. If it gets harder to pull the wire, then you're going to want to heat it up a little bit more. By the way, guys, if you liked the video so far, please click on the thumbs up and subscribe. I do have a lot of helpful videos, and if you are looking for the iPhone 6 or the actual disassembly of removing the LCD from the iPhone, you can click on the description, and we do have all of that. We also do sell these do-it-yourself kits. There's a lot of knockoff kits that don't come with all the necessary hardware and tools. This one does come with a replacement bezel frame, the glass, the UV glue, the UV flashlight to cure the glue, and all the tools that you need. Alright, you want to go ahead and take this glass off as careful as possible. Get it a little bit hot just so it doesn't stick back on. If you do have it very shattered, you can use a toothbrush to take most of it off. And we're going to go ahead and use this razor blade to actually clean the LCD after we get that glue a little bit hot, just so it's easier to take off. This tab right here is the home button connector that's on the actual backlight. You don't have to really worry about that too much. And try to set your LCD on something flat, and you want to pull that tab up just so that it doesn't cause pressure on the top. 99% alcohol is probably your best option in cleaning the LCD. Anything above 90 should work fine. 70 is not going to work, so any pharmacy should have anything above 90%. So let's go ahead and heat the glue up just so it's easier to take this off. And we're just going to run the razor blade straight through the glue with just a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and we should be able to take everything off. I would recommend doing kind of the same motion that I'm doing. You don't want to just go straight up and put a lot of pressure, because you're gonna, cause damage to the actual LCD. So just heat up, clean. Like I said, this is a very tedious and annoying part to do, but we got to get it nice and clean so we can get the new glass on. I know what you're thinking right now. God, how did I get into this situation? Don't worry, I'm here to guide you. If you got this far and everything is still working, you'd have to be a caveman to break this. Just follow everything that I do and you should be fine. Alright, once we got most of that taken off, you are going to want to use paper towels is probably your best bet, just because they're not too rough. A microfiber cloth is just going to be too soft to take off the rest of that gunk. Get it soaked in alcohol. You don't want to pour any alcohol on the LCD. You don't want to cause a lot of liquid on the actual LCD, because you don't want it to go into the backlight. And we'll just finish cleaning up here. Make sure it's nice and clean. If you do have some streaks on it, it's not a big deal. It's not going to matter when you put the glue on. We're going to line this up with the bezel frame. If you don't have a mold, this is another way of doing it. Kind of squeeze that in there. It's a perfect fit. Mark it the best that you can. I'm going to be personally using the mold because I need this to come out perfect. And you can also buy the mold online. It does not come part of the kit. And what we want to do is give it one last clean. Again, if you do see streaks, it does not matter. You just want to make sure you don't have any dust or lint on the actual screen so you don't cause any bubbles. So we're getting just about ready to put this Loca Glue on here. The glue that comes in the kit is 5 milliliters. You're going to want to use half of that amount, so that glue is enough to fix 2 phones. It might be instinct for you. If it does have a tiny little bubble, it's going to blow up by itself. If it doesn't, touch it with something sharp, one of the screwdrivers that you have, but trying to get it as perfect as you can is going to end up always messing something up. So if it's something very small, don't go ahead and take off everything, because it's just going to be more of a problem in the future. Try to use the same pattern I'm using here, by the way. It's kind of like a crazy alien stickman. And once that's on, we're going to get ready to do the glass. When you're putting on the glass, you're going to want to do it as slow as possible and work from the bottom to the top. you're gonna notice how the glue starts to adhere to the glass, and just let it smoothly run by itself. You don't need to be causing any pressure. You don't need to be pressing anything down. Just grab one of the tools that came in your kit, preferably the flathead screwdriver, and slowly drop it down. We're almost done, guys. Notice how I grabbed right there on that corner, and it will start to move by itself. I did this in real time, so you guys saw how long it took me. Don't rush through this part. And don't let your kids bother you while you're doing this part either, because they will distract you and you will ruin it and you will yell at them. Alright, once that part's done, you want to leave it alone. It will by itself push all around to the corners. You don't want to leave it alone for 45 minutes either, because you're letting the glue get into the backlight. If you press it real hard, that's another way of getting it into the backlight. The only thing that we're trying to do here is avoid getting glue in the backlight. So I left mine alone for about 5 to 10 minutes. If you do end up seeing some tiny corners that are not there, give it a light push, and you can start drying with that UV flashlight. The UV flashlight does need 3 AAA batteries once you remove the cap on the top, and you should be good. You're going to want to use the flashlight for about 10-15 minutes. The bezel frame that comes in the kit does have pre-installed glue, so there's none of that stuff that's the 3M double-sided tape. It doesn't work very good, so you just want to heat it up here. You'll see it start to fizz up or bubble up, and that means that it's ready to be installed. It's nice and hot, and remember that you're working with hot glue, so try to do it as quickly as possible. It should line up perfect here. That tab that I just grabbed is the tab for the home button. Do not forget about that. You don't want to get it stuck in the back. And the good thing about this is that if you line it up wrong, remember that you can just heat it up and it will liquefy everything. The reason I tell you guys to dry it very good with that UV flashlight is because if you use too much heat on the LCD, you're going to liquefy the actual UV glue, so try to get just the corners. You'll notice how right here on this corner it's a little bit lifted, and once we get it hot again, you kind of can just push the glass right onto the bezel frame because it's that hot glue, and just wait till it cools down. Keep rubbing the paper towel with the rubbing alcohol to get it nice and cool, and it'll just be ready to install. Alright guys, we're just giving it a final clean. We do not have an iPhone 6s tester, but we will show you guys at the end of the video that we did install it on a rose gold iPhone 6s, and it worked perfect. There's no watermarks, no nothing. Like I said, this one is, in my opinion, easier to do than the iPhone 6. Not a lot of runoff, and a thicker and sturdier LCD. Here we go, guys. We're going to test it out right here. Everything's working good. Backlight's fine. Touchscreen is good. And we'll just go ahead and close it here. Thanks for watching the video, everyone. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, click on the description below if you do need the kits to do this. And please subscribe and give us a thumbs up if you really did appreciate the video. It does help us out. Go ahead and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Later, YouTubers.